We'll see how we do. You're precariously perched. Hi everyone, and welcome to June's episode of A Spring Snowflake podcast. My name is Sophie, and we're in my craft room, finally. Welcome to the new and improved and slightly differently organised and very different colour. Yes, no more of the horrible teenage boy's bedroom blue. Yeah, I need to change the curtains, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Hi, for those of you who've come back, I love you all for sticking with me. And for those of you who are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. You can find me online as Sophie Swan, Sophie Xuan, that is my middle name, on Instagram, and I'm also A Spring Snowflake on Instagram. You can find my patterns on my PayHip site and also on Lovecraft. They are also in the Ravelry database, but you cannot buy them there. I now have 5, which, well, I've had 5 since March, but yay. I'm currently working on the 6th. Slowly, Helen, slowly. And we also have a very small but lovely Discord server, which is mostly used just for chats and group meetups at the moment, but will include slightly more in the coming months. I think that's all that I need to talk about. I am wearing my Granny Hexagon Cardi that you all saw last time, because it's the comfiest thing in the world. Today we're going to talk about some finished objects. There's quite a lot, even though I've not felt productive whatsoever over the past month and a bit. More on that later. Yeah, there's quite a lot of finished objects. But one thing I will say, just to preface everything, is I have a thing about cushions right now. It's a little bit disturbing. So, let's just get right on in with it, shall we? So, first off, the reason why I say I'm looking at stuff on the floor right now. There's a thing about cushions is, so my daughter, my lovely now 7-year-old, had her birthday a couple of days after when I last podcasted, and her big birthday present from us was to get her room redone. So we had it painted. We didn't do it because she wanted multiple colours, and getting that beautiful line in a corner between 2 colours is not something that I wanted to attempt myself. So we got the lovely Barry and his mate, can't remember his mate's name, in, who also did this room. And she has now got a purple and green bedroom. For those of you who don't know me through other methods of communication, you will know that my kid is obsessed with Disney's Descendants, which is a made-for-TV movie series. There are 3 of them, which follow the children of Disney characters, so both the goodies and the baddies. So Mal, who is Maleficent's daughter, is the kind of main female protagonist in these movies, and then she is with the male love interest is Ben, who is the son of Belle and the Beast, or as the artist formerly known as the Beast. And yeah, it's ridiculous. The songs are great, and Amelia is obsessed. She loves Mal, she loves Evie, she loves Uma, who is the daughter of Ursula. She loves Audrey, who is the daughter of Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, so she was like, I want a Descendants theme room. So I will pop in some pictures so you can see. She also got a brand new bed, which is a mid-sleeper. She's now got a little, she's got her big bed. So she's got a small double, big bed, up a ladder, not too high though, because we were very adamant that my very tall child was not going to be really close to the ceiling, because longevity-wise, that wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, so she's got mid-sleeper. I think the highest, the top of the frame is 155 centimetres, something like that. So I'm taller than it, but only by about 15 centimetres. Is that right? I'm 170. Yes, there we go. And yes, we had a bit of a shifty around of all of her stuff, which means that underneath her bed we had this single futon that had been in our spare room. I think we moved with it, so we've probably had it for almost 10 years. It wasn't really doing much in the box room apart from being a dumping ground, so we've moved that underneath her bed and have made it like a little reading nook, put her bookshelf underneath the bed as well, and it's a lovely little cosy spot. So I decided that I wanted to make loads of cushions for it. So the first one that I finished was actually just some sewing, because I had this I started Charlotte's Universe when there was a cowl going on, and of course, because this is me and all of Dedri's patterns, she's the one who does the Sophie's, who created Sophie's Universe. I got to the end of one of the clues and went, I'm done now. And I was preparing to make this into like a summer baby blanket, and then I looked at it and I looked at the size it could be, and I went, I'm gonna join the seams and make it into a big square cushion, which I did. So that's the middle. What I love is that actually the triangles on the side are, so the central square fits the pillow. This is a Ikea pillow insert. I think it's 55 centimetre one. I might be wrong on that, but I'll put a link to it down in the description box. Oh, all links to everything I talk about, if I can find links, will be down in the description box below, including all the places that you can find me on the internet. Yeah, and then I did my now favourite join, the zigzag slip stitch join, which I'm using on everything, to join the corners. So that is cushion number 1. I made this in the Hobie version of the Whirl, so Twister, and so some of the Twister solids, and then also one of the purple and green. I'm not the biggest fan of Hobie. Their social media stuff could need some work in terms of inclusivity and general just not being dicks. Apologies if young ears are listening. But I had it in my stash, so I'm using it. That's cushion number 1. Cushion number 2. Let's go. Where? Oh, I don't know where cushion. Oh, there it is. It's covered. Cushion number 2 was going to be bigger, but I ran out of steam basically on it. So I was going to do 9 rectangles. They're not really squares. And then I decided not to once I'd done the E and the heart. So this is a tiny cushion. Look, it's tiny. With my little girl's initial. These are, I found these on Ravelry. I can now use Ravelry in dark mode for about half an hour maximum before it starts affecting my eyes and my head, which is nice because I can use the database again to search for things, but also I refuse to sell things through them. So yeah, so this I found, I think I just searched for letter motifs on, I can't even remember, blocks. I think it was Afghan blocks, and I searched for the letter E. And then I found this lady who basically done the whole alphabet plus some other kind of symbols and stuff. So yeah, that one is a little pillow that Amelia now takes to bed with her, and her one or multiples of her soft toys use it as their bedtime pillow. So that's number 2. Number 3. Yeah, number 3 is this one. So this is the smaller size Ikea cushion insert, so I think it's the 40 centimetre one. And this is a tube that I cranked out of my new Addi Express King Size circular knitting machine, which was a birthday present to myself. So you'll see that the gauge on this is very loose. Yeah, can you see that? Loose gauge. It is a white insert, so that's helpful. But this is made out of a Karen baby cake. I can't remember what colour where it was. I'm going to put this down. Oh no, I'm not. Because I'm really proud of certain bits of it. I cranked a tube, and it was the first thing I did on my on the Addi. machine. It is the 46 pin Addi Express King Size knitting, circular knitting machine. I'm still learning about it. I've pretty much only done tubes so far, round and round and round. Amelia loves it. And this was the first thing I cranked on it, and I had some Aran or worsted Karen baby cakes, one cake that wasn't going to do anything, so I was like, well, we'll just try it and see how we like it and get to know the machine. Love it. Slightly obsessed with watching YouTube videos about it. And I was like, okay, what are we doing with this tube? And Amelia was like, make it into a jumper. And this thing, like, yeah, no. So what I did is I took the tube, I crocheted up like basically created 2 crochet lines, surface crochet lines, steeked it, and then seamed. You can actually, is this, which one's my better seam? Yeah, this one. Did a mattress stitch on either side to seam it, and then I did, now which side is the Kitchener? This is why I'm proud of it, because I can't tell. I grafted it. Yeah, there's my graft. You can see it's a little bit irregular, but I grafted it. I was lucky that the end of each end of the tube was this mint green, so there's no like obvious join. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's stretched so much because it's such a loose gauge, getting over the pillow form. But practiced my steeking, practiced my grafting. I'm very proud of how neat it is. This is the first time I've actually done mattress stitch as well. I watched a video, Very Pink Knits, love her. So yeah, this is another one that is on Amelia's, it's actually on Amelia's bed. She sleeps with it, rather than it being underneath. This stuff is really soft. I think it's 100% acrylic, so it's not surprising. Okay. Last finished pillow, and this one's mine, because this one has memories. So, those of you who've been here before know that I like to start year-long blanket projects. However, I very rarely finish them. The only year-long project I have ever finished, well, this isn't a year-long, that I've ever finished is my temperature blanket from 2019. Yeah, I think that I didn't do one for 2020. My temperature blanket for 2021 is still 2/3 finished. No, 3/4 finished. Over 3/4 finished, because I'm crocheting the 4th quarter, but I haven't attached the 3rd quarter to the 1st and 2nd. Anyway, and my 2022 temperature blanket, I think I got to March and stopped, which is what happened here. However, this was my 2016 hexagon a day blanket. Now, for those of you who are good mathematicians, you'll have realised that 2016 was the year that my kid was born. And I started heavily pregnant, well, 6 months pregnant, 5.5 months pregnant, oh my god, 5.5 months pregnant, I started a hexie a day blanket as a kind of mood blanket in the run-up to Amelia's birth. I don't know what I was thinking. That ever-optimistic person that doesn't realise how much of a shock to the system having a newborn is. But yeah, so this is my hexie a day from just before Amelia was born. Now, I stopped it. Hang on a minute. So this is... hang on. Yeah, this is where I started. So I did a zigzag slip stitch join, because I love it. And this is where I finished. Now this, it was mood blanket, so black, not a very good day. And the reason why it's got a little red, squiggly red line is because that was the day that Amelia stopped moving for the first. She did it to me a few times, but I rushed myself to the maternity assessment unit and was hooked up to the ECG, and she was fine. She was by that point she was wriggling away and having a party in my tummy. But they kept me in there for 2 years, 2 hours to kind of monitor me and to make sure that she definitely wasn't. But yeah, that was a really scary day in my pregnancy, and I think I just put it down after that. But so what I did is I did the kind of my mood in a hexie, but then I put little motifs on there for significances. So like, that's Chris's birthday. This I put bubbles in because it snowed that day. This, I think was 2016 a leap year? Because if it was, that's the leap day. This is when we went to see Deadpool in the cinema. Valentine's Day, my youngest sibling's birthday, my dad's birthday, and these little wedding rings is when I went at 36 weeks pregnant to the wedding of one of my dearest and oldest friends. So yeah, I've had this sat in a box, not having anything done to it for 7 years. And I basically put it as it's just hibernating. I'll work out what I want to do. It's all acrylic. It's all stuff from Stash. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm on a cushion kick. Let's carry this on. So what I did is I made up a few more hexagons to make sure it kind of I could do this join easily, and then I finished the row of the last row. So hang on. Let's have a look. That was the last. Was it? Hang on. Oh no, maybe that back one wasn't the. No, it wasn't the last one I did. Anyway, I added some more hexes to just kind of square off the bottom. Then I added in. Then I properly squared off the bottom by adding in basically a round, so it was a long thin piece, so I added a row of so I did slip stitch in the top of the hexagons, then double crochet, half treble, treble, treble 2 together. Is that what I did? I don't actually know. Yeah, treble 2 together, and then treble, half treble, single, slip, and basically just went into the valleys and just and squared it off. It wasn't exact, as you can see. It's not. But then because I then joined it as an offset, so I joined the valleys to the peaks, but with that straightened edge, it kind of all works itself out. So I did this bright green that I just wanted to get rid of, and then I did scraps to join the rest of it, and then it's joined with a zigzag slip stitch, which I love. You'll hear me talking about it all the time. What I actually really love is that kind of, yeah, it reminds me of kind of Giant's Causeway, but that's only because it reminds me of the Basalt Shawl by Faye Dashper-Hughes, and her Basalt Shawl is based on the Giant's Causeway rocks. So, there you go. Right, those are all the pillows. There are 2 more FOs. First things first is a tale of woe. And it's not a tale of woe because it's not a nice finished item. It's a tale of woe because my kid doesn't want it. So I made Amelia in 5 days, may I just say, a Tessellated Cardi, which is a Tunisian crochet pattern. I'll show you the detail. So it's Anglia, basically, by Abbeymade. Her most famous pattern is the Diamonds Not Pearls jumper. This is the cardigan version, basically. And she's basically the Tin Can Knits of the crochet world, because she makes this in newborn to large adult size. I did it in 2 different colours. I'll show you the back just to give you an idea. This is a Corner of Craft Winter Sprite Lurex merino nylon fingering weight yarn. And then the bottom is an undyed merino tencel from Chester Wool, which I was given by the gorgeous Sharon, who is Crochet Foundry, Stitch Foundry, something Foundry. I'll pop it down below. But yeah, this is a tessellated cardigan. I made it for her to wear at her school's coronation picnic thing that they were doing on the Friday before the coronation. And then she said, no, it's itchy, mummy, and promptly left it behind and wore a commercial cardigan. I've got some pictures of her in it, so I'll insert those now. But yeah, it's not as if I can even like rip it back to a certain point and carry it on for me, because the starting chain is very different. So I'm putting it off. I do have some left, so I could potentially extend the sleeves, make it into a proper length jumper, and she might wear it then. But ooh, sneezing break. Pollen. Ugh, it's so horrible right now. Plus yarn things. Anyway, so it's currently sat up here, waiting to be frogged. I also have Amelia's Granny Go Round jumper, which doesn't fit her anymore, which I want to frog the sleeves back so that I can add more length. But yeah, it's currently sat here in disgrace while I decide what I want to do with it. My last finished object is an upcycle. So my lovely friend Carl bought me a t-shirt, a Dungeons and Dragons t-shirt. We play D&D together. We went to school together. He's one of my oldest friends. Well, weirdly not. Like, I've known him for about 20 years, but we kind of didn't reconnect until a few years ago. Anyway, he's one of my dearest friends now, and he bought me this t-shirt for Christmas last year. Grossly underestimated my size. Love him for thinking that I fit a ladies large t-shirt from QWERTY. I do not. A ladies 2XL, which is their largest ladies size, is snug on me. So I couldn't really do anything with this t-shirt in its state that it was. So I decided to cut it up. I cut the neckline off. I cut the sleeves off. I then cut down the sides and used my new Addi Express King Size to knit up a very loose gauge DK weight cotton. I think it's cotton acrylic. It's bobbling like mad, so there's definitely something that's not cotton in this. Anyway, cotton acrylic rainbow, just beautifulness. Let me check the time. This was a tube that I then steeked in 2 places to make 2 panels. I will show you the insides because they're hilarious. There's all sorts of rainbow fringe. Look at this. Yeah, so I steeked. You can see... Actually, I'll show you the other side of the steek because I used a lighter blue. So that... Yeah, those are my crochet Those are my crochet stitches, and these are my ends. So crocheted up, steeked, and then I sewed a... what was it? I used a special stitch on my overedge stitch, I think it's called, on my sewing machine. I don't know if you can see the red stitches there. There we go. And then I crocheted into them with some embroidery thread. Wow, that's mucking up my camera. And then to create I just did a slip stitch, line of slip stitches along that thread edge with some embroidery thread that I got from Ellen of Mrs. Lamb's Yarns. And then, again, you'll have seen it, I used the zigzag slip stitch join to join it on. And it made a lovely, slightly oversized, so I wore it to a festival, Slam Dunk Festival. I do not recommend. But yeah, so I now have a workable D&D t-shirt with gorgeous rainbowness. I used a slip stitch to close off the ends of the tubes. There we go. Yeah. I'll see if I can find any pictures of me wearing it at the festival. But it was so comfy. I was, yeah, it's bobbled like mad. So I do need to work out what fibre this is, but it was a mystery that I got in a swap, I think. But yeah, so that is my final finished object. So, works in progress. To carry on the theme of cushions, this is my last cushion that I am making, I think. Yes, for now. In my vintage Knit It, Hook It, Craft It, which is now Provenance Craft Co. tweed bag with my, I thought I'd lost this pin, Don't Be a Dick badge, and also my Let's Go Make a Cup of Tea badge. This is from Hannah of Hey J, which is she's no longer dying, and Hannah from the Corner of Craft. So I've got 2 Hannahs. In here I have a ball of Hayfield Spirit DK, which is a wool acrylic mix from Hobbycraft, and I am making the final, I'm so close to the end of this, the final pillow, which is a bias pillow. So it's a knit tube, but you knit it on the bias, so you increase, and then I'm on the decreases. I have the gorgeous beaded stitch marker from Hannah of the Corner of Craft, I bought in her recent update, or one of her recent updates, and I'm on the decreases. So the pattern for this, I cannot remember, but it's part of a collection of pillows, and I bought a couple of them. So once I'm done, it'll be a tube, so I'll seam up this end, and I will put a cushion in, obviously, and then seam up the other end. The pattern itself is just stockinette, but I added some of these garter stitch rows to add some interest. So that's almost finished, but I am flitting currently because my brain can't focus on one thing at the moment. It's interesting. I'll tell you about that in a bit. So that's that. The other things that I'm working on, I am not going to show it to you, but I'll pop in a photo. I am on the border of Chris's Middle Earth Minis blanket. I'm so happy. I'm literally, I think I've done one side. I'm hoping I don't run out of yarn. I'm using the Eden Cottage Yarns Boland DK. Hang on, I'll show you. I think I'll be fine because this is what I've got left. There is another ball attached to the blanket at the moment, but yeah. So that's Boland I think it's Boland DK in Silver Birch. Vintage Eden Cottage Yarns. But yeah, I'll pop in a photo so you can see the progress. So hopefully I work on it during Amelia's bath times, because then I can sit there with her and just crochet along and just chat. So yeah, that is working its way slowly. It's quite an easy one. And then there's two there's 2 more projects which I have started. I have not made any like a lot of the projects I showed you last time, I haven't worked on them, or I have worked on them a little bit and then I've put them down again, and then I've moved on to something new. There's some medical stuff going on at the moment, which I won't talk about too much because I'm being referred places and it's all mental health related and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to talk about it just yet. I will when there's more news. Anyway, living in this Kalok Shek Ellen dinosaur bag, which hilariously I bought for Amelia and she doesn't want, so it's mine now, is my mystery gnome along. I am doing the More You Gnome mystery gnome along, which is currently going on. I am currently doing clue 3 and clue 4 comes out today. So I think I might have an email in my inbox. So if you are doing the mystery gnome along and you do not want spoilers, I have got clues 1, 2 and 3 and some of 4. So look away until the time that I've stamped on the thing. Okay, so I'm using, normally the gnome along patterns say that you should suggest that you use finger weight yarn. I like making gnomes. I do not like making them in fingering weight yarn, so I'm using DK. So my nifty, GNIFTY, will be a chunky, colourful, scrappy DK gnome. This is clue 1. No idea. It looks like a bow tie, maybe. I have no clue. That's clue 1. This is Coop Knits DK, Socks, yeah, DK. Then clues 2 and 3 created what I'm calling my Satsuma. No idea. Apparently this doesn't need to be firm, just hold its shape. Anyway, and then I'm a little bit into, I'm on the increases of clue 4. Again, I think this is Vicki Brown DK from an advent. I have a bag full of DK minis. You're asked to do 3 colours. I'm not going to. I'm literally going to just pick. Yeah, so I'm going with dark, light, medium. And when we come to what's obviously beard, oh, it's undressed itself. This will be the beard colour, which is a 10-gram mini skein from Verity of Truly Hooked from her mini eggs bundle that we got for Sweater Club a few years ago. Because I'm using DK, I'm not using the suggested needles. I am using 3.5mm for the larger needles and 3.25mm for the smaller needles. I did clue 1 and 2 on DPNs, but I switched to short or circulars, 2 circulars in the round for clue 3, and I am much happier with that. So that's the gnome. And then the last one is living between these two. So I am making the Rooms with a View blanket, which is currently an along that is run by Eleonora of Coastal Crochet. As soon as I saw her release the spoiler, like the not spoilers, the introduction to this, and I went, I need to make that. I'm going to show you the picture of the finished blanket. I'm on square 1. 5 of the squares have been released so far. I know I'm not going to keep up with it, so I'm just going to keep plugging away on it. I want to keep up with the gnome. This I'll do in between. So this is square 1. This is eventually going to be a window with a sunset. And for this, again, I am using lots of scrap yarn, scrap hand-dyed DK. So this is, I'm doing, well, she has a lights out and a lights on, lights off. What time is it? Yes, I'm good. Version, which is either black or white or cream. I chose to use some of the plethora I have of Coop Knits Soxia DK in blue. Or it's actually Astral Planetae, I think is the name of the colourway. But I've got a lot of it. Like 2 sweater quantities worth of it. So I thought, you know what, let's use some of that. And it's kind of a lights out, but not as hard to crochet into as black. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's a really nice, fun little project to work on. I have another corner of craft, one of her newer style dragons. I love him. So yeah, so this is the current, this is what I'm, this bag from So Yarnilicious, my little otter bag, is my carry it around and what the square I'm currently working on yarn, and then the Thimble and Thread Make Trug, which Tracy did for Earth Day. She is taking a bit of a break at the moment, I think. My little trug, I love it, is carrying the rest of the yarn. Now, because, again, this is scrappy, I've just picked out colours from my stash, and they each are in a little bag. So this is like the pinks colourway, and then there's the purples are in that one, and then I've got greens, and so it all corresponds to the colours that are suggested as part of the make along. Now the make along is being run in collaboration with King Cole. So they have 2 different yarn packs, one acrylic, one cotton. I have enough yarn, so I've gone scrappy, and it's really nice. It's just fun just to pick out the colour and whichever one from that little basket of slightly different greens or slightly different yellows of what I want to go in next. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Okay, that's the making content. One thing that has been taking my time quite a lot over the last few weeks is reading. We went into Oxford for Amelia's half term So Amelia had a half term last week. I took the week off, which was amazing. It was just so nice. But for Bank Holiday Monday, obviously my husband was off as well. So we went into Oxford. We went to the cinema, Curzon Cinema. Very much recommend. We went to see The Little Mermaid, the live action. Very good. Highly recommend. There's new songs. They will make you go, "Ooh!" For those of you who are diehard Disney fans. But the things I will say, love Javier Bardem as King Triton. Love Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. The guy who plays Prince Eric looks far too much like my little sister's boyfriend, and that just made me go a bit like, oh, well, I can't think of him as a romantic hero. The voice actors for the non-human characters, so Scuttle, Flounder, Sebastian, is that it? Yeah, those three. They did it so well. It was, honestly, so good. Anyway, but while we were there, underneath the Curzon is Blackwell's, which is Oxford's bookshop. So we went in, and Amelia and I bought 3 books each. And one of the books I bought was one that has been on my to-read list for a while, ever since I started reading A Court of Thorn and Roses, and that is Throne of Glass. Now, I tend to read my books on Kindle, and it wasn't until I started reading this that I remembered why I love paper books so much, because like this is a week's worth of reading in between, like parenting and days out and things like that. What do you know what's really nice about paperback books is you can see where you've got to and how like it I love it. Anyway, so yes, Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I am loving it. Probably more than A Court of Thorn and Roses. I'm currently on A Court of Wings and Ruin, halfway through that on my Kindle. And maybe it is because it's not paper, and it's not tangible. But I'm kind of going off it. It's probably because this doesn't really have a romantic story in it just yet. There is kind of leanings toward it, whereas in The Court of Thorn and Roses, you're into the romance straight away. Whereas this is, and I think it's because A Court of Thorn and Roses is aimed at adults, whereas this is a young adult book. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm on chapter 41, page 309 at the moment. Yes, now, obviously, if I'm holding a book, it's really hard to knit or crochet. So, I bought myself 2 things to help. This, which is a little sloth, which holds my pages open. And then I bought Amelia a dinosaur version of this, and I loved it so much I bought the sloth. This is a little like pillow that you can put your book or your tablet, and then these little tabs at the bottom keep your book open. So I can sit with this on my lap. It's on my lap with his little tuft of hair. And I can sit and I can crochet and I can read my book, and every so often I'll stop and I'll turn the page. Oh, little things. I love it. I got that from Amazon, but I think you can get that from other places. I will pop the links down below. Right. I have 3 minutes before I have to go pick up the small person. So, let's tell you a little bit about what's going on with me. Mental health stuff. Probably why I took a little bit longer than I said before coming back again. But we had half term. My mum came up. She started a new job in Oxford. Very exciting. She's not quite sure yet, but hopefully, hopefully she'll do all right, and then eventually she'll move up here, which will be really nice. It'd be lovely for Amelia to spend more time with her grandmother. But yeah, we did loads last week. So as I said, on Monday we went into Oxford. On Tuesday where did we go on Tuesday? Can't remember. Oh, we went to the circus. We went to the circus at our local farm centre, and then went and saw the animals and had lunch, and it was lovely with a friend and one of my mummy friends and her daughters, one of whom is only a couple of weeks older than Amelia. And then Wednesday we went into a local town called Abingdon, which is one of the towns over from us, and went to their very traditional fabric shop, Masons, and we bought lots of fabric so that I can make presents end of term presents for Amelia's teachers. She moves to the next stage of her school next year into year 3, so we're going to lose that contact with that everyday contact with some amazing women, yeah, so I want to make them something so those will feature on a future podcast. Thursday my mum came up. Amelia and I had kind of a lazy day at home for most of that day, and then mum was here, and then on Friday we went to Ikea. Had a lovely time at Ikea, and then we went into Newbury, which is another local town, slightly bigger than where we are, and we did some pottery painting. I will post some photos that my mum took of me and Amelia painting. My mum didn't paint, even though she's the artist. It was my late birthday present from my mother, and it was, honestly, it's the first time I've ever done pottery painting, and it was just so much fun. I'm doing it again. But yeah, so I pick those up at next weekend. So I will show you what they look like when in the next podcast. But other than that, I'm back to work this week. Because of the stuff that's kind of going on with me, I am working from home all of this week. I went in yesterday, got completely overwhelmed. So I'm working from home for the rest of this week. Although tomorrow I have a day off. Chris has a day off, my husband, and we're going to go and do an escape room. We did an escape room on my birthday and had so much fun that we're doing it again with the same people. I can definitely recommend them. I cannot remember what they're called, but I will put it down here. So if you're in the Reading area, these guys, highly recommend. And I think that's about it. Yeah, so I thought I'd just pop in and have a catch up and say hi. As Granny Weatherwax says, I ain't dead. Still going, still trucking. And hopefully I'll be back in another couple of weeks with some more crafty things. Hopefully I'll finish this. And if I don't see you before in my Discord server for crafty nights, or on social medias, then I will see you then. Bye guys.